Good morning and happy day, whatever today is. So you guys have got a little bit of extra homework this week. But this one's really easy because I want you guys to practice echo and case and all that other kind of good stuff. Right? So what we've got is you've got two case statements in here. Right? So there's two examples. And if I could spell, that would really be case, not C-A-E. All right? All right, so we have two case statements that are in here. I'm going to go over one of them, but then I want you guys to work on number two on your own, right, and come up with this. So number one is the one we'll work on. Number two is just a real simple. Do you agree, yes or no, to install software on your box? But the goal here is I want you to pretty them up, and I want you to get them so that they actually give the user more input into how to use the script. So if you take a look at, if I could type, nope, can't type right now. So what I have is what I did is I copied off what I've got, right, and just dumped it into a file called case.sl, and then went ahead and changed it over so that it's what? What's that permission set? 755. Remember, 766 is read-write for everybody. 766 is, 766 is read-write. 755 is read-execute. All right? So what we have here is a standard kind of script. One of the things you have never seen before, and this is at the top of every single script you will ever see that's written by someone that's used to writing script. That statement should be at the top of every script, except for the one you're doing for me this week. All right, the one that's due in. I don't expect to see that. But if you see exclamation point bin bash, that kind of sets a shell expectation. Right? The computer will see it. And if you don't have it, especially on longer, more complex scripts, then the computer will actually reject your script. It will say, nope, not found, having problems, can't do this, can't do that. So I want you guys to get in the habit of putting this as your first or second line into your scripting from here on out.
What is that bin bash?
It basically sets a shell. It tells it I want to work in the bash shell.
So do you have to create that bin directory?
No, it's already created and everything else. This just points it off to where the interpreter is on how I want to use this script. In most Linux installs now, you will find a bin directory. Right? You don't have to create a lot of stuff. What you want to do is just point this script off to a shell that it can run in on its own. And this kind of encapsulates the process. So the first part of this, right, is actually really a true kind of process here. I want you to check that 3 arguments are given, but the script doesn't say what the 3 arguments are given unless you don't put something in there. And then it will tell you that usage is option pattern file name, which really doesn't help anybody out. There's no explanation on what an option is, what the pattern is, or what the file name is. So if you don't put anything in there, it will just go, nope, do this, and then exit. It gives the user no feedback. It gives the user no chance to loop back and try again. You actually have to go back and manually restart the script. So I want you to pretty that up a little bit and give the user a little bit more input on why this is what they can do with this. Next, we want to check to see that the file that they pointed to actually exists. So if they pointed off to var syslog, that file won't exist. So we want to let the user know, no, sorry, that file doesn't exist. So we'll check and see in the directory that they put in there underneath file name. All right? So this, check that the file exists, goes into file name. So your file name doesn't exist, especially if they screwed up the directory or something else along the way. All right, and then these are the only valid switches that you can use. And that would be I, right, to see the number of lines that matches the pattern. So if you say pattern is cron, right, and you say I as your option, then it will count how many times it sees cron in a line. Right? If you use C, it will count the number of word matches, how many times the word cron shows up in the pattern. All right? If you do P, it will echo out to the screen all the lines that have the word cron in it. If you do D, it will delete all the lines that match the word cron if you use that as your pattern. Does that make sense? But we really want the user to know, and then we want some kind of prompt. Are you sure you want to delete all these lines out of the syslog file? All right, because generally that's a bad thing. We don't want to accidentally delete the fact that Dan was in there hacking. So we don't want them to know. So you'd want to let the user have an extra prompt on that. Are you sure, yes or no? Right? Are you really sure you want to do this? Are you just being a noob user and you just want to just do your job and you don't want to get harassed by a bunch of software? Right? So those are your options. And then if they press anything other than I, C, P, or D, it will echo out that this is an invalid option. Nope, I can't do it. I don't know what you're talking about. And then at the bottom of this, you have something called ESAC, which tells it to stop, that this is the end of that entire script. Right? Once you're done processing, once you have all the user input, process your file and then stop. You're going to see .EASC a lot on a lot of the more professional grade scripts, right? Because it's a nice way of telling the script to die quietly and nicely. Right? Once you're done, just quit. Don't get hung up. Just die. Right? So sometimes, you know, like that driver that was in front of you doing 40 on I-5 this morning, you just want to say just die. If you could just say .EASC on them, and they won't know what you're talking about, which is awesome, unless they work for Microsoft or Google or someone else like that. All right? So this script, it's all in here, right? And all you have to do with this is pretty it up. Give the user more feedback so they know what they're doing, all right? And then go ahead and turn that into Dropbox. All right, and Monday morning, sounds good to me. Happy weekend. What weekend you thought you had, you no longer have. All right, but the request has gone out that I give more homework. So you guys can practice more underneath kind of an axe hanging over your head. More homework, right? So this is a really easy way because it works on the things you've already worked on. It works on your echo and works on your input, but it also introduces you to case statements, right? Where we do switches, where we tell someone that I want to take input from a user, right? So what ends up happening is if I run this, right, it will tell me, oh, wait, here's how you use it, just as is. Option pattern file name. So if I want to then go /case.sl, my option is -p, right? So I want to do a p, and then my pattern is let's do cron, and let's do var log syslog. Go ahead and bring this up on the screen a little bit so you guys can see it better. All right, var log syslog. Now, unexpected token near new line on .EASC. So if you see this, then that means it was that something here failed. So that means my script doesn't work. Unexpected token means it was looking for something and it couldn't find it. So it's probably a problem with my cut and paste. So the first thing you could do then is, well, let's see if nano case.sl. Let's see if it's with my ending.
But if you put the pound on there, won't it not read that line?
That's correct. Because if I'm having an error, I want to find out where my error is. So I start commenting out commands that may be problematic. All right? Nope. Still got an unexpected end of line, so that wasn't my problem. So I now know that that was not my problem, so I can delete it. But what it looks like I have is something that it doesn't like. And you know what? I'm going to lay odds it's that minus sign right there. Because what is this? A wildcard, right? Because I didn't have a minus sign in there. So when you guys are working on your prettied script, remember the minus sign goes there. No, unexpected token new line. So as you go through and you debug it, you want to start working on what's causing the issue or what could not be causing the issue. Unexpected token near new line. And no script is perfect, by the way. So basically what I'm looking for now is to make sure everything's encapsulated in quotes, all right, because that's going to be one thing that will do this for me. But just in case, let's see if it's this guy right here. Yeah, okay, so that tells me there's a problem further on up the script.
It's not that line C. You don't have it in quotes.
Which one?
Line C up on the graph, does that need to be in quotes like line B?
No, this doesn't. Because it's a straight out command. So grep won't have to be, and you guys have not seen sed before, but so there's something problematic with this line here. So somewhere in here. So you guys can troubleshoot this a little bit if you want. Was that a snorty noise? As in, like, why on God's green earth are you guys going to make me troubleshoot something that's taken me minutes to figure out? Double colons should be a hard end. Should be a hard end once that case is done. All right. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll try to debug some of this as we kind of go through. But think about the ways that you want to pretty this up so that people can actually go through and do stuff. And if I can get a good working copy of this going, I'll just post it into the course shell. Take out the old one and put the new one in. Because this is going to take me a minute. And no, I'm not expecting you guys to debug my code for me. If you do, awesome. Right? Awesome. But no, I don't expect other people to debug my code. Yes, sir. Just make the pretty bit. Right? Give it so it's got more user feedback. Using what you've already learned, the echo statement, and all the other things that go along with it. So the user knows how this thing actually runs. So they know what the program is for, what each of the switches does, how they should put together the command line on it, and all the rest of it, so that the user knows more about this program. Right? And that's all I'll be looking for is the pretty stuff. I'll be looking for the candy coding. Candy coding is a real common expression in programming, right? Most of the GUIs you see is what they call candy coding. In other words, it makes it easier for the user to use. Right? But no user is going to take a look at this and go, all right, I know exactly how this works. Right? So that makes 2 assignments due Monday. So there's no quiz in here. Right? But you've got this one, just put the candy coating on it, make it look pretty. And then you've got this one, week 6 assignment. Right? Which is the script that you're writing right now. So how's everybody doing on their script? Good? How many people are angry with me and curse the day I was born? Oh, man, nobody? Not because of the homework. All right, at least there's one dissatisfied customer. I mean, you know, it'd be like I would be violating the odds if everybody was like totally, perfectly, 100% happy. Can't having that. All right, so does it kind of make sense, though, on what everybody's got? Did everybody watch the video from Wednesday when we walked through the script and how to do it? All right, if you missed the video, watch Wednesday's video, because it basically walked you through exactly how to do this and what I'm looking for. So watch Wednesday's video. That will kind of help you out. All right? And then just remember to put the candy coating on this and drop it into Dropbox, and we'll be good to go. Does that make sense? Kind of sort of makes sense? Maybe? How many people are loving that I just took up some of their weekend? Right. Yeah, nice sarcasm. That's worth points, by the way.
Well,
right.
I do have a heater core that I need to install in my truck.
Who cares about your truck? Yes. Yes.
So about the permissions, I wanted to know what should I give to the script and text file.
Okay. The text file should be read write. The script should be read execute.
Read execute.
Mm-hmm.
About writing.
No, you don't. The script doesn't need to write. Right? So the script permissions should be read execute. The file should be read write. Does that make sense? Okay. So that gives you guys an uninterrupted 35 minutes to go do stuff and maybe try to crank it out so maybe you can put the heater core back in your truck. Right? All right. So I will come up with something equally as devious for next week. All right. But the idea is we're going to start really getting down hard and dirty on this one so we can do stuff. All right. Because remember what your final looks like and all the rest of it. I'm going to come up with a midterm over the weekend. Right? Because it's a midterm, you get one shot at this, but it will be online multiple choice. You've seen a vast majority of these questions before. I am noticing that there are people that are not doing the quizzes, and that is going to significantly hurt your GPA, right? So do the midterm. You'll have all week to do it. If you want to go through the midterm before you take the attempt, let me know, and we can do that either on Monday or Wednesday next week, right? So you guys can actually pre-see it before we go, because once you open it, you're on a timer, 2 hours, one shot. Yes, sir.
Can we review our own quizzes? I haven't tried yet on Review, but can we review them?
I think you can. Try it and let me know if you can't get into it. Right?
How many questions?
I'm thinking about 100. Honestly, just 100 true-false questions, so about 2 hours. No one gave me I lock up on quizzes piece of paper and accommodation paper. Does anybody have problems taking quizzes online? No? They're too hard?
No.
All right. Well, no, that's an input, even if it's just kidding. So how many people think my quizzes are too hard? People aren't backing you up, man. You're on your own now. All right. So does that kind of make sense? So we'll review the midterm then on Monday, and then turn you guys loose on it so you guys can all do this. But again, one shot because it's the midterm. And we'll do something similar for the final, but you also got some practical for the final as well. So candy coating, I'm going to be writing a midterm so that my week will be just as horrible as yours will be. All right, any questions? Are we good? Are you satisfied with life? Is everything wonderful? I have to ask. Don't give me that look is priceless. I would pay for that look, but I get it for free. Thank you. All righty, guys. So go put some candy coating on stuff and work on your scripts today.